Welcome one and all, it's the 19th episode of 7 Sunday Morning Hot Takes. If you saw last week's episode, I may have already jumped the shark. I wonder what my good friend Penta will have to say about that. I'd love to interview Penta someday, just so I could pepper him with questions about Happy Days and Henry Winkler. That'll always be the best running joke on this channel, and it's probably the best joke of this episode. So I'm the dispatcher, imploring everyone to temper their expectations. Hot take number 1. Let's get this out of the way. It needs to be done. Terry Bollea passed away this week. It shouldn't be ignored that Hulk Hogan's legacy is the most impactful in all of wrestling. It also shouldn't be ignored that Terry Bollea, the person, let a lot of people down. And speaking directly to God right now, I think it's a terrible booking decision. I would have had him kick out and Hulk up, give Death the big boot and a leg drop. But I guess God has his own vision of the word immortal, and he makes the final call. When I was in grade 9, Hulk Hogan lost the world title to Andre the Giant, who then relinquished it, and a tournament was held at WrestleMania 4, and then Macho Man won the title with Hogan's help. At the end of the school year, I came second place in a public speaking contest for the entire school. My topic was Hulk Hogan. The judges deliberated for a really long time. The winner was Bridget, and the subject of her speech was siblings. Afterwards, many students and even a few teachers told me that mine was the best, but of course I couldn't win, because wrestling. School trustees and parents were in attendance. An early lesson in politics. Hot take number 2. I'd like to give you my favorite Hogan memory from a Toronto perspective. I've seen Hogan fight multiple times at Maple Leaf Gardens. WrestleMania 18 obviously is a huge moment, as is WrestleMania 6. But my favorite memory of Hogan in Toronto comes halfway between WrestleMania 2 and 3. In late August 1986, over 60,000 fans attended a big event down at Exhibition Stadium, imaginatively named The Big Event. An 11-match card featuring the Killer Bees, King Tonga before he was Haku, the Junkyard Dog, Adrian Adonis, Harley Race, Hamilton's own Iron Mike Sharp, Bobby Heenan, wrestling alongside King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd in a 6-man tag match. Andre was there as the Giant Machine, but he didn't wrestle. Ricky Steamboat versus Jake Roberts in a snake pit match. Billy Jack Haynes versus Hercules, and also the Fabulous Rougeaus against the Dream Team, 2 matches that would be repeated at WrestleMania 3. The main event at the big event was Hulk Hogan versus Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, with Hogan winning by disqualification and Orndorff thinking he was the winner and donning the title around his waist. Hogan would then beat up Mr. Wonderful and Bobby the Brain, and then do his pose routine to close the show. I highly recommend checking out the big event just for the historical relevance. It might be considered the first WWE stadium show intended for a wider broadcast audience. It was on closed-circuit television and soon released on VHS by Coliseum Home Video. If you do check it out, notice the floor. It's packed, shoulder to shoulder. There's way more people than there are seats, and no ushers anywhere. And it was kind of a chaotic atmosphere. But once the first match started, everyone's focus was on the ring and the action. How do I know this? It was 10 days before my 13th birthday, and I'm out there on the floor somewhere, standing on a seat, on a cold August night down by the lake, hoping for a title change, because wouldn't that be something? And even though Hogan won by DQ, I guess I'd have to say that it's still my favorite Hulkamania memory. Perhaps I should say, rest in peace, but I think it would be more apt to say, run wild. And after all, what you gonna do? Hot take number 3. All right, let's get on with the real hot takes. Petty grievances and absurd proclamations. I've spoken about gauntlet matches before. They're so unfair to the starting participants, and no one comes out looking really good. As was the case 2 Mondays ago when LA Knight and Jey Uso were both beaten by Braun Breaker, already softened up by Penta. I actually thought Penta had the best showing against the Angry Dog, and it's really not much of a boast for CM Punk to say he won a gauntlet match when he came in at the end and beat up the guy who was there at the start. And a small quandary, but have gauntlet matches always been no DQ? I looked up the rules and it says participants can only advance by pinfall or submission, so I guess, but it doesn't explicitly say no DQ. How come I have no memory of this stipulation ever being utilized by the participants? Is it really just a series of consecutive street fights? Why would the starting participants ever come to the ring without weapons in their hands? Like a taser? Come on, Mr. Levesque. When you're booking these matches, ask yourself, What would Triple H do in this situation? Well, he'd pedigree Fonzie in under 5 minutes, he'd hit LA Knight with a sledgehammer, he'd hit Jey Uso with a sledgehammer, and then him and Punk would wrestle a really boring match for 25 minutes, and then he'd hit Punk with a sledgehammer. Okay, that's not much better. I think the solution is maybe just don't do gauntlet matches anymore. They're stupid. Hot take number 4. Boy, has Jey Uso slid down the card quick. Beaten by a twice worked over breaker in the aforementioned gauntlet match without much resistance, the worst thing he could have done was have his music play during the match so he could yeet with the crowd from the second turnbuckle instead of pouncing on Braun outside the ring. Corey Graves said, "I don't like this at all." And LA Knight and I both said, "Yeah." And now, thanks to Roman, Jay's set for a match at SummerSlam in which he's the most likely of the 4 participants to take the pin. The good news is we're halfway there to getting the true bloodline back together, and when Jimmy and Jay reunite, they'll bring Fatu and Roman together, and that will be awesome. Hot take number 5. Dipstick selling for Jelly Roll reminds me of Pat McAfee selling for Vince. I don't like it. It's not believable. It's yuck. On the bright side, this is going to bury the dipstick, isn't it? Who's ever going to believe that he's a legit contender after getting pushed around by Cinnamon Bun? I mean the Jelly Roll guy. Hot take number 6. The rehabilitation of Charlotte Flair's character has been a bit fascinating to me. It's been a focused effort, and I find it intriguing that Flair's preference is to work face when her comfort zone has always been heel. But she spoke a lot recently about her absence and return, and there was a lot that could be inferred between the lines as well. I think her and Alexa are destined to pick up the titles at SummerSlam, but might drop them right back in Paris, then split up. That's a good amount of time to cook up a friendship and then shatter it with a betrayal that leads to building 2 opposing sides for War Games. In the meantime, it's probably healthy for Charlotte to prove to herself that she can, in fact, be a likable person. Hot take number 7. SummerSlam is just a week away now, and I've got a list of Night 1 matches, but it comes with the caveat, card subject to change. I've got 6 matches, let me tell you what they are, and I'll give you my kayfabe fantasy predictions that aren't real and don't come with any special insight. Opening match, I think, is going to be Roman and Jay against the law firm of Bronson and Braun, and as I mentioned before, I think Jay is most likely to take the pin. Or Reed. Match 2 might be Time's Up for Tiffy. I hope Jade destroys her and knocks out a Tiffy tooth and messes up the finish just for the eruption of heat she'll get. Match 3 will be Jelly Roll pinning Drew McIntyre, because wrestling fans can look the other way now and again for the business, right? Match 4 should be Karrion and Sammy, and I think this one goes to the killer, Cross. But perhaps Sammy wins by going to heel tactics. Watch out for a double turn, potentially the first of 2 on the weekend. Match 5. I think we might see a title change. The festival of Charlotte and Alexa's friendship has legs, and a short run with the belts will give this odd pairing room to breathe. Last one. If Gunther and Punk doesn't go on first, it'll go last. If it's the first, Gunther wins, but with someone's help. If it's last, Rollins will appear on the ramp in crutches, and then Roman will spear his bones out of his body, and he'll be injured for 3 more weeks. The next time we see him, he'll be in crutches and a half body cast. Every time he tries to catch in, his injuries will get progressively worse until WrestleMania, when Heyman rolls Rollins out for another heist attempt in a hospital bed with an IV drip, his face wrapped in bandages. And then the real Seth Rollins sneaks out from under the ring for the heist of the millennium. Thanks for being here. There's still episodes of Raw and SmackDown to come this week, but with the addition of a 6-pack TLC match to the lineup, it looks like it's ready, set, go for the go-home shows. See you next Sunday with your SummerSlam halftime show, and I'll give you a Night 1 roundup and Night 2 predictions, just like a real YouTube wrestling channel, but without the sincerity. I'm the Dispatcher. You're on the top turnbuckle, and every day is a sunset flip.